Sparrow Books presents Darcy's Hope, Beauty from Ashes, a World War I Pride and Prejudice variation by Ginger Manette. Excerpt read by Phoebe Batterson-Brown. Chapter 11. Elizabeth Bennet raised her chin and gazed over the distant meadow. The morning sun, shimmering off the canal below, beckoned her. She'd never ventured down the bluff to the waterway, but she had plenty of time today. After inching her way down the craggy hillside, she headed towards the glassy water. Rounding a bend, she squinted into the sun at a silhouette of an officer standing on the bank, peering down the canal through field glasses. Whatever he saw must have been intriguing, as he surveyed the horizon for quite some time. Just as she opened her mouth to call out a greeting, a stick snapped under her foot. In one deft motion, the soldier whirled around and levelled his revolver at her. "Don't shoot!" Elizabeth cried, raising her hands in surrender. It was Captain Darcy. "What are you doing here?" he barked, lowering the firearm and glaring at her with flashing eyes of steel. Her heart pounding, she bit back. "Perhaps I could ask the same of you." "That is not the point." He reached out and grabbed her arm above the elbow, nearly shaking it in rage. "A lady has no business out here alone. There are men roaming about who have no thought for their future and would be only too happy to ravage an attractive woman such as yourself." She jerked her arm away. "I appreciate your concern, but I am quite capable of looking after myself. It's nice to know you now consider me attractive, as there was a time I wasn't handsome enough to tempt you." His face hardened. "If you were this obstinate towards your father's authority, it's no wonder he gave up on your sisters and retreated to—" With his eyes now wide in shocked contrition, his manner softened. "Forgive me. That was uncalled for and unkind. Please, trust me in this." "Trust you? Are you asking me to trust you? After your reprehensible treatment of Lieutenant Wickham and your calculated separation of Charles from Jane, I have no reason to trust you." The captain clenched his fist. "Perhaps had you read my letter explaining myself, you might think differently." "Letter? What letter?" "The one I sent to Longbourn from London after our encounter at the Hunsford parsonage. It detailed my dealings with Wickham and your sister. I suppose you were too prejudiced against me to even open it." She opened her mouth, then shut it, dumbfounded. Was it possible he had an explanation? She'd stayed an extra 2 weeks with Charlotte after the captain's departure, but surely had a letter arrived at Longbourn, it would have been left with her other correspondence. Wouldn't it? He released a defeated sigh and broke the silence. "Although I no longer adhere to my principle that a good opinion once lost is lost forever, I suppose I cannot fault you for abiding by it. Good day, Miss Bennet." With a nod, he turned on his heel and strode away. Elizabeth stepped back, wilting as she released a breath. Why did every encounter with him leave her breathless and weak-kneed? The tension that radiated between them was unlike anything she'd experienced before. He was somehow entrancing, both repelling and tantalizing at the same time. Still shaken from the encounter, she started towards the chateau and shook off the thoughts, not wanting to think on it any more. "It's no wonder he gave up on your sisters and retreated to—" His words crept through to her consciousness, and she winced at the painful reminder of truth. But she wasn't the obstinate one, her younger sisters were. She hastened her pace, but his words caught up with her. "A lady has no business out here alone." She huffed at his presumptuousness. What made him such an expert on everything? She'd never seen anyone out here, except the children who played with her stuffed dog, an occasional wagon on the road, or Sapper and his men at the cemetery. Under the captain's authority, she'd already surrendered the dower house and the annex. She had no intention of following his every whim, as if he were an omniscient god. Besides, what was he doing here gazing down the canal? Didn't he go to the hospital ward at the school every day? We hope you enjoyed the excerpt from Darcy's Hope, Beauty from Ashes. You too can escape to the era of Downton Abbey and experience all of the drama of World War I, right alongside Lizzy and Darcy. For the mere price of a latte, you can watch the unfolding of their tender love as they learn to work together and reconcile their differences amidst the carnage of war. Darcy's Hope is available at Amazon, or you can visit our website at gingermanette.com. So purchase your copy and let your great war romance begin today.